Honestly, the hovers over there, pretty interesting, but in the end, they still come back to the Gnar, which can do so many different things. You know, it has some split pushing options. And one of the main ones is that even in their losses to BLG,
when Kiaya, such a huge part of Gam's success, as now he's got to try to get away, but a flash in from Broken Blade, Kiaya! But the first few minutes of game one, setting the attitude, setting the pace for the series, and now Kiaya is going to be the target yet again. G2 did their homework, they know who they got to go after, and Kiaya is trying to get away as Skumon continues chasing forward. Sama doesn't even need to provide the extra damage. Skumon lifts away with 20 HP. Now LeBron's gonna pay the price, so Gam get one back. But G2 are making plays, and they're making more of them faster until Emo has something to say about it, riding into the Weaver's wall. Levi's ready to knock him right back up into the air. And the first piercing arrow from Sama doesn't find Elio or Artemis. Now the Weaver's wall has arrived. Emo's ready to fight. They're gonna go after him, but it's LeBron the first target. Crash down into the Magnet Storm, finds Skumon, but he's already powered up by the Subjugate. Curtain Call opens up, and Levi's ready to jump in. Skumon is already down, and Levi's taking a kill. Sama walks out of the way of the seismic shove. G2 continuing to try to get away from this one. Emo doesn't have enough damage to make anything else happen as the Deadly Flourish flies out. Now Chain CC to Sama! Let's see how it goes. The Herald's already down to 2/3 HP. Gam thinking about it here, as already Emo's ready to make the teleport come in and join the fight first, but a huge engage coming out from G2. They've already killed Elio before he can do anything. Levi's into the back line, looking to find some damage here to Sama. Nice seismic shove back into Skumon. A little bit more damage is needed, and they're finally going to take him down, but he also has to be traded back again for another one. Broken Blade and LeBron trying to get away as Kiaya goes Mega Form. The Deadly Flourish doesn't hit, but the Weaver's Wall is ready to ride. Emo makes his way into the fight once again, and Artemis is ready to follow up. A little bit more damage on
Not going to be a Gam answer. Gam have called, we're going to give you that Herald, we will go for the trade, but can they survive under tower?
Yeah, Elio's coming up here to try to help Kiaya. Kiaya hit the wave to guarantee that he would turn into Mega Gnar, so he would have the extra HP, but Caps goes in, Broken Blade gets it done. Elio now surviving, trying to in a 1 versus 5 with his top laner already down. He's got no way home.
To go chase that extra kill.
And we got more action right back to live as Emo's in some trouble, and Broken Blade has locked him up and beat him down. No way out for the keeping him feeling safe. Does not have to worry about popping the Dominus here early. Kiaya throws out another Q into the wallop, even though he gets slowed down by the Stride Breaker. He still feels safe enough. Broken Blade, though, wanted to spin the flash to try to engage there on the enemy top laner, as now the seismic shove, the Weaver's Wall, it's Emo.
Barely gets it.
He gets it, and now he's got to try to join up with the rest of the team. Levi's going to be in some danger here as LeBron and Caps go in, find some initial damage onto the Gam drum there, but Kiaya goes in for the Mega Gnar onto both carries. He's doing a ton of damage to the Caps and Hans both, but he doesn't have enough to get the kills. Caps is still alive. Levi is already down, and G2 holds on. Elio trying to retreat.
I mean, Kiaya had found such a good angle with both carries trapped inside the red buff pit there. Not done quite yet, though. Okay.
Oh, the flash in from Elio, but a nice backstep there from Broken Blade to get out of the way of the seismic shove. Health bar into Artemis. Another one connects there onto Elio. As Levi wanted to go for a win, becomes lightning. Emo fires off the Weaver's Wall as Levi dives into the background. Sama in some danger, but he ain't gonna be killed off just yet. Levi's about to die to Skumon as G2's counterpunch is way too strong. Gam thought they had him, but the only thing they have is an ambulance ride. Gam has already lost 4. A triple kill for Skumon, and Kiaya is stuck between a rock and a hard place and a pillar, and he's about to drop as well. The ace
gets chomped down.
It's exactly what you said back in the lobby, man. Xin Zhao might like to scrap, but Trundle is ready to answer the call. G2 up 1-0.
But at Broken Blade, obviously, they put a lot of resources towards him. And I also think that, to me, a lot of this game was just about playing.
Might be a possibility. Gragas is another possibility. Gonna have some, you know, body slam, flash possibilities as far as their plays. The ultimate does take self. And Realm Warp's another one that can have some very, very high variance.
Around there. Meanwhile, they've got a very similar overall rate in series, as now we got a problem for Emo, who flashes over the wall, but Sama is ready to follow. Emo barely staying alive. Sama in a little bit of danger now, too, as he continues going forward. Hans gets first blood, but then he's the second. G2 continue going forward as Elio's got to be protected, but the protection is not there just yet. Elio getting away. Skumon has to flash to get it. It's a 2-for-2 so far as LeBron is down to
However, Sama on the Lucian might have something to say about. He's got an extra little dagger. He's getting ganked.
Okay, Levi's coming down here looking to use that early money as Labrov still only level 1. His heal's not even available. Artemis should be able to pick this one up for free. Levi just zoning Hans. That wave collides into the turret, but it's still about almost a 3-wave lead for Caps, as now Artemis has to try to retreat. Here comes the Realm Warp. This could be the problem for Game as Artemis gets stunned up, shut down.
Caps in check. Now that there's no threat of that, they go for the grub bite.
Elio goes in, Labrov throws up the door. Exhaust onto Levi, but Artemis is also here. Labrov jumping back to the safety of Hans Sama, but a little bit more damage over the wall. Gets the jump. Rush. He can create enough distance. That was flash for flash jungler for mid laner there. As Broken Blade goes for the ulti onto Kiaya, and here comes the Realm Warp. Caps is looking to go aggro, and with Skewmon coming with them, the slam into the wall is there. And however, the numbers don't lie, my friend. You look up at that gold lead there at the top part of your screen. It is down below 500 now for the side of Gam. Emo eating a whole ton of damage here for the calling. Another beautiful wall slam coming out from Skewmon, as now Labrov and Hans Sama are ready to make it a 2-for-nothing special. But he may pay for that last little bit of greed for the turret plate. Skewmon shows up, knocks him up into the air with a point-blank keeper's verdict. Broken Blade trying to follow, looking for a little bit more CC, knocks him back. Beautifully done. Skewmon and Broken
by G2 to pick another member. And there's no answer this time.
But down in bottom lane, we got Artemis in some danger. He might just lose the 2v2. This is the point of power for Gam. He's got to be so careful now, as it looks like Elio's just going to be the sacrifice. Labrov still dropping very low on HP. And right when it looks like it might have been a fair fight, here comes Caps. G2. Levi is already on the Drake, but if Broken Blade catches him by surprise here, this is such a problem. Emo's going to be knocked into the team and immediately killed. Hans Sama on a killing spree with a beautiful slam into the wall with Keeper's Verdict to set up the second kill for Hans. Labrov and Broken Blade completely controlling the fight. Broken Blade is redeeming.
All of them coming back out together.
Okay, Labrov and Broken Blade stepping up into the enemy jungle. Broken Blade ready to keep this one moving forward. Another nice use of the ulti, but miscommunication with Labrov, who uses the Glacial Fissure and interrupts the knockback from Broken Blade. Now a ton of damage onto Hans Sama. He barely stays alive, but that's good enough for now. Levi's low, G2 retreating. Miscommunication between they will have to fight through the Rise, who does now also have Seeker's arm guard. Now, oh, nice flash follow onto the body slam there from Broken Blade. This time the ulti collides exactly where it needs to. And
they've been playing those sideways, playing the macro, and he's getting another one here.
Yeah, Skewmon wants to go in after Emo, and Caps is ready to follow. Levi with a defensive stun, trying to provide an opportunity for his teammate to get away. Caps triggers the Seraph shield there, as Skewmon and Broken Blade have to back away a little bit further. Labrov going to get grabbed by the dredge line as Gam continue their chase. Won't land the CC onto Labrov as he tries again to protect Caps, who flashes away from the depth charge. Broken Blade here on the front line as the TP is coming in to once again reinforce Gam. The ulti from the Gragas, not enough. Emo over, he's not 4 levels down. It's still 3 levels down. That is still extreme, and Levi is now finding himself caught, slammed back into the wall. Labrov and Skewmon need a little bit more damage, and Caps and Hans Sama have arrived. Instead, they'll turn their attention over to Elio, who cannot get away. Thimblewinter and Cosmic Drive means that he is a tanky Gragas that's also spamming abilities at maximum speed. Labrov goes in for an engage on Emo. Broken Blade knocks Elio back. Emo, not the right angle on him, but Elio will be a fine consolation prize. All right, G2, let's see how they can defend against this. Levi wants to go in there with a Grand Starfall, but he's immediately ejected by the Keeper's Verdict. G2 burns down the objective, and Broken Blade keeps everybody else busy. Skewmon into the back, finding the slam into the wall on Emo. G2 aren't stopping, and it's Gam dropping. Artemis caught in the middle of a Realm Warp, and 4v1. Look at the bounties on the side of G2. Skewmon and Caps, both with maxed bounties. Broken Blade is about to solo down the formerly fed Corki. Take a drink.
Especially, and now they're coming to finish the job.
All right, Gam got to try to defend this last remaining lane of inhibitors, but it ain't going to happen too easy. Broken Blade goes golden, trying to stay alive. The tier 3 turret buys a lot of time, though. Gam with a nice defense, have already found 2. Caps into the Zonias, trying to stay alive. The shutdown back over to Levi. Caps wants to get away, but a massive shutdown for Kiaya. Gam come to life and defend their base on their last leg. breaks. Hans on the run, but Levi's on the hunt. Artemis right behind him. Gam.
And Gam, they pulled off the defense. They got the objective bounty shut down. Kiaya puts the ward in the brush, but he gets the bad news.
Yeah, he might have gone a little bit too close here. Deadman's plate poppy. There goes the last inhibitor in the Gam base. They go in for the engage. They're trying to find Levi. Instead, switching over to Emo. He's already dead, as now Elio's about to fall with them. Broken Blade goes back in for a nice two-man body slam. Rune Prison on Levi seals his fate as well, and it's only Artemis left standing. But the Nexus turrets are down. G2 still firing as Artemis has to flash to try to get away. Kiaya's back into the fight, but it's a 2v4. Cap staying alive, kiting Artemis out as Broken Blade comes back over for the CC into the kill. The ace for G2. The game for G2. Game point for G2.
G2 today.
Kind of what I feared for Gam would happen. My expectation, though, is Eris is probably going to come in after how these first two games have gone.
Being the top laner for the side of Gam, you're going to have your main initiations there be with the Wukong and the Rakan, but I think that's more than enough big initiation between those two ultimates. And the final pick of the draft for G2.
National stage.
Okay, spellbook there for Rakan, so you can see Elio jumps in. Gleaming Clue over the wall, finds a target though. They're going to interrupt the recall of Hans Sama. Levi is here. Hans does have summoner spells available to try to get away from this one. Barrier is in. The feathers don't hit it. In the heads of Artemis and Elio. Now Broken Blade is in danger. Levi making his way up here. They know the Mbessa does not have the ulti to try to outplay this. It's going to give him the opportunity. Broken Blade there with a flash away. Kiaya gets his kill.
9 minions as well. The answer on the opposite side. The response after the red buff steal.
Oh, Elio trying to stop him here. LeBron is down to 100 HP. Beat of Warfare going to be claimed now by Gam.
They go for the dive. They drop the kill there. The successful play from Gam. Up on the top side as well. Now mid.
Lebrov getting charmed, but it's only the clone. Real one gets knocked up into the air, but Eris is taking a ton of damage here from Caps. Levi tries to go back in, but the Pop Blossom manages a catch. Levi in some danger. Lebrov knocks him down.
G2 trying to put a stop to that again, Tom, very quickly, because this is going to lead right into the grubs as well. Caps getting instant value on top of it.
Caps trying to dive between turrets for the kill onto Eris, wants to get the reset. Will end up out on that one. And now we've got Lebrov and Hans up here looking to make the kill happen onto Kiaya. Bullet time, Pop Blossom, Snowball, the whole kitchen
Down as well for the final little bit there. And G2, wait a second. On the bottom side of the map, Broken Blade trying to deal with the other side of the swap. Can Artemis and Elio put as much pressure? They're getting teleported on. That's why Broken Blade is staying under here.
Yeah, Broken Blade knows he has the public execution if he wants to try to make something happen here, but they burst him down before he can do anything about it. Caps should be able to get one back here onto Elio with the explosive charge there. No amount of shielding.
Carry in the game, and that is Caps.
All right, Broken Blade teleports up there, but it's a three-man play coming out from Gam, looking to burst him down.
Again?
Man, I can't even finish the sentence. Broken Blade getting bullied here in this third game as Eris has to use
key carry.
Kiaya with the 40 farm lead over Broken Blade. An even stronger advantage than the plus 30 that Caps has in the mid lane there. Now Kiaya dodging away for the public execution, but Broken Blade's got Caps. Kiaya's not getting away from that one. He even waits. It's about that much the other direction for G2. Hans Sama getting caught out by Eris, but Elio is too slow in the follow-up, so they can't get anything, and that just means low HP. But now Caps in danger. Levi over the wall.
Call, wait a second. How much do they want to go for this? Because you see the Misfortune walking over.
Here comes the redemption. Pop Blossom, though, from Lebrov. He could be in a little bit of danger here. Skumon is knocked up into the air. The follow for the second Cyclone coming out from Levi. Kiaya barely getting away from the bullet time. Kiaya and Skumon both hanging on by 100. Kiaya has the teleport. He's down to the bottom lane, but Otacon is already down to 40% HP. Levi and Elio walking up, scaring G2 back. Eris ready to join, already using one Spirit Rush. Finds a charm into Hans Sama, putting the pressure onto the AD carry, but Lebrov is coming around from the side, looking to find the Pop Blossom. Otacon stolen away by Gam. Hans Sama with the flash over the wall, staying alive. Kiaya looking to chase him down. It's Otacon plus a kill over to Gam, but what about Elio? He gets himself back away. Broken Blade exhausted, having to retreat now too. Gam to deal with Broken Blade on the Mbessa, who is having his roughest game so far of the series. Caps gets stunned as he tries to jump back over the wall. Kiaya on the hunt, looking for the Tristana, but Buster Shot is a great disengage mechanism. Problem is
of this team. All right, Caps though, he wants revenge. And Eris, his Ahri ultimate isn't quite up. A couple of seconds left on it. He's getting chunked so far down.
Oh, I think Skewmon might just explode him. Yeah.
Not too big of an investment. They go for the teleport play. Can they make the pincer happen?
Yeah, they're going for the TP now as Caps has to rocket jump away to the very edge of the pipe. Broken Blade wants to go in and he gets into the very back of the pipe, but Hansama's already down. Broken Blade having to run away. Kiaya chasing further after the remaining targets. Lebrov trying to get a little bit of extra distance, flashes away from the charm of Eris. Hans is down, and now we'll see what else Gam can get from it. Elio walking into Broken Blade. Caps looking for the opportunity here on Artemis. The feathers are recalled, but they don't find the right target. Lebrov is picked off. And Hansama, the target again as Gam go in, exhaust onto the MF, immediately followed up with the damage from the Xayah, and with Hans out of the picture, new targets remain. Lebrov, Pop Blossom will only mark his own grave. Double kill for Eris if you let G2 pick these up. Skewmon though, what? Back up to a 4,500 gold lead. They've got themselves 3 Ocean Drakes with 2.5 minutes until the Soulwood spawn. Gam continuing to push these waves forward. It's a 5v4 for the next 15 seconds, and Gam are going in. The dive coming out from Elio into the back line, looking for the kills here, as they've already killed Caps. He's down. Lebrov will go with them. Hans tries to fire back, but there's not a lot you can do when Kiaya's already got a Skewmon's back alive. Hans is still standing, but they're the only two. Skewmon wanted to channel the ulti, but they won't let him do it. Now the first Nexus turret is already dead. Kiaya finding his way to Hansama here in the back. Levi goes on a killing spree. Skewmon goes straight into the graveyard. Lebrov's alive, but who cares? That's support Nico, and that's Gam taking us to game 4.
Caps looking ahead at his future here, maybe leading to Silver Scrapes here. A lot of ups and downs as we see here in the gold round.
Champs for them, for the carry. Very comfortable, and the Silas does come in. Answer here for Eris. This is good into the Twisted Fates. You know, you can steal
both top laners, of course, going for the grass stacks. This is a meatball battle. They're both just going to be clearing the waves, hitting each other whenever they get
down there on Neferi, getting into the action early.
Skewmon's going to make his way down here, but Lebrov is eating a ton of damage first. It's first blood over to Artemis. The series, early advantage for Caps in terms of his presence in the lane, his ability to farm. He's up 2 waves. Kiaya going in after Broken Blade. Needs a little bit more damage. Finds a grass proc. Broken Blade goes for the rupture. Kiaya's got the sidestep. He hits him with a little bit more damage, but a nice silence to interrupt the decimate. Broken Blade's gonna eat the apples. It heals him up enough. Now Lebrov with rotation over. Kiaya cannot get the kill.
Dealt with the pressure that has come their way from jungle.
Ooh, Caps gonna find himself in a compromised position here. There's your lilting lullaby. Caps is put to sleep. Eris jumps in to join the fight. Ace in the hole to guarantee it, and Artemis gets Elio's ready. Broken Blade is pretty tanky here on the Cho'Gath, though, at least in terms of health. Resistances might not look that impressive. Now gonna get taunted up. They wanted to see if that taunt might have been able to bring him closer to the trap. A little bit more damage will get it done. Ace in the hole, that's the goal. As there's Broken Blade, though, getting the kill back on Kiaya to make it a 1-for-1.
Yeah, he does clean up with the minion waves up here, and he is gonna go for the stop.
Oh, that's a huge taunt from Elio. If they can get a little bit more, the winds of war are blowing, and Caps is blown away. Gam picking up another one as the Swirl Seed flies in, but it won't find the mark on Lebrov.
Nice.
Levi is really impressive stuff from Gam here early. I am loving Elio's play on this Galio as well. So many good taunts, so many good justice punches. Kiaya versus Broken Blade, the meatball war once again raging as they both try to stack as many grasp procs as humanly possible. Broken Blade winning out in the trade for now. Kiaya, the problem with using these decimates against Cho'Gath, 2 of the Cho'Gath abilities interrupt the channel, so you've got to be ready to spring it early if the rupture's about to hit you, or if you think he's about to get the cooldown off on the scream. Flash for the Artemis puts out. Hansama already down to half HP after Artemis tags him here with a headshot. Stolen Twisted Fate ulti coming in. Here's Eris. There goes Lebrov. There goes Hans. There goes the turret. But here comes Broken Blade. He's in the middle of 4. Cho'Gath, he might be hungry, but he ain't eating today. Gam!
getting more and more answers here, but the dive.
Okay, Eris getting dove, tries to use the ulti to defend himself. Immediately, Elio comes crashing in. He wants to find a taunt, but he doesn't find anybody. Now Kiyaya's shown up. G2, they still got a 5v2. The turret is about to fall. Kiyaya in danger as Elio tries to get away. Kiyaya's fully running. Gam caught off guard. They'll lose 2 plus a turret. Completed now on the Scion in these extended fights, can get a ton of value out of the healing on that one. Elio stepping forward, threatening a taunt, but he gets stunned up. Followed up by the Leona ulti, but where's the rest of it? Eris stealing the Leona ulti now as Labrov is down to half HP. Broken Blade taking a lot of damage from Artemis back over the wall. The Silas Leona ult doesn't hit any targets. They force the flashback out of Hans. Gam have control over the river, but Elio has to McHale's himself to get away. Yes. If G2 can pick off the Caitlyn, that's their green light. If Gam can protect him, they can steamroll a fight. The Crab is going to be the first part of the fight. Eris moves in, scaring G2 back. Crab going to be claimed by G2, but now the fight starts off. A lot of damage on LeBron as he tries to flash away, but a big multi-man sleep coming up from Levi. Kiyaya's is in a little bit of danger, but G2 are already losing multiple members. Broken Blade tries to get away. The Swirl Seed tags him, but it doesn't matter. The Mountain Drake, the Mountain Soul, Broken Blade. A whole lot. Mid lane tier 1, G2 going to force that one down. Caps providing the damage. Kiyaya goes in for the initiation, doesn't find what he's looking for, but he does zone Caps away. Hansama looking for Artemis, who flashes back to try to get to safety. Artemis still bleeding to the darkened daggers. G2 wanted to make something happen there, but they don't quite find it. Now Labrov and Skumon taking a ton of damage as Kiyaya continues chasing after Broken Blade. Eris zoning Caps out of the fight, so TF cannot join. Broken Blade's knocked up into the air, and Artemis is locked.
Mid lane here. Cho'Gath is in the brush on the side there.
Oh,
but...
Skumon steps up straight into a taunt! Elio, the Galio! They're going to place the ward over the wall, but it's blocked by the control ward. Now Gam, they're going to pull off. They'll go after Labrov instead. They know if they kill him off and they have a 5v4, it'll be so much easier to take the Elder fight guaranteed. Decimate with the stun. Justice Punch gets it done. Broken Blade with a rupture over the wall, just trying to look around, see what's happening. Eris and Kiyaya approaching from the side. Kiyaya's got so much of a shield, nobody can even break it. Eris.
Everything at their back. Scammer going for it.
There's still 10 seconds on Broken Blade as Gam goes straight in. Hansama's already going to be under pressure. Eris continues the dive. G2 continue to retreat. They can pray if they want, but God's not listening. Gam force down the Nexus turrets. They make their way to the Nexus, and after starting at a 0-2 deficit, Gam will take us to Game 5, and Silver scrapes.
Just first of all, just take a look at the graph. I mean, this kind of hits.
Oh my God.
40
out to 10,000.
Now let's see. Seraphine, final pick.
I kind of wanted to see the Pike because you want to like execute past the Tahm Kench shield, past the gray health, but because G2, once again, they're going to rely a lot on Caps plus Skumon here. Senna has
lane towards this topside river here. Levi coming around, flash, vault breaker. Seraphine tries to follow. Levi won't be caught by that trap, but Skumon coming in mid lane here, finds a nice stun on Eris. There's the follow-up from Caps. Shockwave isn't going to do a whole lot. It's first blood over to Skumon. Oh, but now we got a problem up in the top side for Kiyaya. Skumon once again trying to make the difference. Kiyaya misses the Q2, goes in for the Q3 onto the Viego. Continues trying to make a little bit of extra distance, but the third and Tofo strike's gonna find him this time. Broken Blade gets a kill. Kiyaya back up into position here on the Aatrox. Still just the difference between having an item and not. Broken Blade just feeling so much more powerful than this Aatrox. Goes all out, provides himself an exit route here as now the World Ender is popped. Broken Blade trying to use the Pathmaker, but that means the Vi ulti has the opportunity to go back in. But Skumon's also here. Broken Blade with another shield. Gam finds the first kill, but now Kiyaya's got to make sure he doesn't fall.
But using that thing, it already is fairly low.
Brav gets rooted up there by the Seraphine, forced to flash out. Now they're ready to follow it, but that's a Seraphine ulti. They're throwing the whole kitchen sink at Tahm Kench. He gets away with an Abyssal Dive. A little bit more damage is still required. Levi's still going in finally. Okay. Broken Blade about to walk right into the waiting arms of Gam, but now he's ready to go all out. It doesn't work though. A nice buffer from Levi to get away from it. Seraphine ulti hits too, but they're putting all the damage into Labrov. The Tahm Kench trying to get away over the wall, but the Dawning Shadow fires back into Gam. You've got to spend the first 2 hours with the exposition. Now Hansama getting caught out. No Tahm Kench nearby. Hans has to flash to get away from it. Now the follow-up charm to Skumon. There's the save. Labrov keeps his jungler alive with the Dawning Shadow over the top, but Levi is reinforced here. for the shields. Broken Blade wants to make his entrance here to go all out. Kiaya flash. Oriana shield on
here.
Levi. Okay, Abyssal dive from LeBron. Kiaya to target. G2 have already got him. Feet of Warfare for G2. Kiaya down. Gam on the retreat. A nice knockback onto Elio, but Broken Blade has gone very far forward. He uses the Pathmaker to get himself back out. To claim the blessing of Noxus, which is the boots, across all Tier 1 regions in Split 2. The longest one was 31 minutes, but we don't have time for that. Caps has been caught out. Levi goes in for him, but Lebrov's got the save. Tom Kench against Vi. He's made for this. Beautiful counter from G2, and the game is blown wide open. Han Sama with a kill.
Really huge gold lead for them. Gam.
Oh, nice from Skewmond. He immediately responds with a heartbreaker to get away, and Eris gonna get dove now. G2 is tired of waiting, and Broken Blade will create the space to pierce the base of Gam as G2 will find their first inhibitor here in the top lane. They'll find the second in mid to step up and take pot shots at this thing. As another wave steps up to the side of Gam, Levi wants to go in. The Seraphine ulti over the top. It only finds Broken Blade and LeBron, and now Levi is going on a one-way trip. Gam trying to force the fight forward, but Kiaya has to flash back. Caps is ready for the counterattack. Elio is saved by Artemis, but the Dawning Shadow finds multiple health bars. Artemis is already down. Kiaya and Eris both about to follow. No raid boss Aatrox in this one. Eris is gone. Gam is aced, and G2, they had to work for it. They had to sweat for it. They had to bleed for it, but they won't be denied. They eliminate Gam and move on to the main stage.
Formats, all best of fives, all the time. Here's a look at the damage dealt there. That's scaling Senna.